So I'm going to talk about a bit of a different transportation topic, and that's why Michigan can't fix the damn roads. So you might be thinking, but we are fixing the roads. The governor's always talking about it. But the state's own data tells a very different story, and it's actually pretty bad. So it is true that around 2022, things got a little bit better. The reason for this is the state did a one-time action where we went $3.5 billion into bond debt to do some more road work faster. But that money's about to run out, and then things are projected to get much worse in the coming years. The problem is $3.5 billion one time, that was never going to be enough. Most serious studies of this say that we need something like $2 to $4 billion every single year, not just one time, to get and keep our roads in good state of repair. So I guess that's the talk. Mystery solved. We can't fix the roads because of money that we don't have. But actually, I think there's more to it. I think we need to ask ourselves, what happens when we get that money? What do we do with it? Because all too often, we just dig the hole deeper. So I'm going to start actually with kind of a positive example, kind of. This is I-375 in Detroit, which MDOT is planning to remove the freeway and replace it with a surface road. Now, there's a lot of problems with this project, not least of which is the idea that a 10-lane surface highway is going to somehow reconnect communities. But if we just think about this purely from a fiscal perspective and look at what they're doing, it's going to be a big upfront investment, but it's going to reduce the total paved area. It's going to get rid of a lot of bridges and structures that are expensive to maintain. So this is, in that sense, it's a good investment because it will reduce long-term maintenance costs for our state. And with our stagnant population and our road funding shortfall, we should be doing this everywhere, right? Well, we are not. We are doing the dead opposite. We are widening half of the freeways in southeast Michigan, every one of the blue lines on this map. These projects are ruinously expensive up front and extremely destructive, by the way, but they will increase costs for future generations of Michiganders. Let's look at a couple of the big ones. We've got I-75 north of Detroit. This is about 18 miles being widened to 4 lanes in each direction, the cost of $1.7 billion. It is going to have Michigan's first HOV lane, but this is only enforced a few hours a day, so I'm not sure what good that's going to do. And then we can look at I-94 in Detroit. This is under 7 miles of freeway being widened at a cost of over $3 billion. That is almost the entire amount of the bonding program that I mentioned earlier. And this was a draft document, so I'm not sure, but it might not be done till 2053. So, all right, what's the impact of this? Well, our state's population has grown by about 9% since 1980, kind of stagnant. But the amount we drive our vehicles has grown over about 56%. And it turns out it's not just driving, right? Everything's connected. So there's similar estimates that say that the amount of developed land area in our state has grown by a similar amount. You look at this, and it's no wonder we can't afford to maintain infrastructure in this state. And I don't just mean roads, I mean water, sewer, power lines. And we have to maintain as much as 50% more of this stuff with basically the same population of taxpayers that we had 45 years ago. But highways are the key thing that enables all of this, because when you widen a highway, it makes it seem feasible, for all the mobility reasons Professor Levine talked about, to go further and further out. And then the sprawl follows, and then we get more traffic on the highways, and we're right back where we started. It's a ruinous cycle. Call it induced demand. Locally, in our communities, we want to take a different path. Both the city of Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County, it's our climate action proposals, have passed policies saying we should reduce vehicle miles traveled by 50% in the next decade or so. But we will never succeed at this if we keep widening highways. And this is exactly what MDOT is looking to do to US 23 running right past Ann Arbor, between Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti. Now, they've got alternatives. You can have a flex lane, you can have a general purpose lane, or you can have a HOV lane. But it does not matter. All of them are adding capacity, inducing sprawl, increasing long-term maintenance costs, and they are all climate arson. So if you're fired up about this, there's actually a meeting about this, literally next Thursday. So go to this meeting, tell MDOT not to widen this freeway, And then after you do that, maybe write your state legislators and tell them to stop letting MDOT do this across the state, because our state literally cannot afford to keep doing this.